Eu vou começar hoje com uma princesa de verdade, a Princesa Michael de Kent. Please, Your Highness. Your Highness, how do I call you, Your Highness?
In England, you would say ma'am.
Ma'am, yes, I like
If you were a great friend of mine, you'd say ma'am, darling.
Ma'am, darling, I don't know if your husband would like that.
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Okay. Ma'am is all right?
Ma'am is all right, yes.
Okay. The book is here. Coroadas em Terras Distantes. From A e C, a companhia. And what's the English title of the book?
Crowned in a Far Country.
From which point of view? Because for our point of view, England is the far country.
You're right. But these ladies, these princesses, they all came from one country and were married into another country, usually because of political reasons. They probably hadn't seen their husband before, but you in this country, you had Leopoldina come from Austria here, and I wrote about her in this book.
You are originally from Austria, too.
I'm half Austrian, half Hungarian. The Hungarian's the difficult half.
But that's not your case because your husband is a very handsome man.
What are you trying to say?
No, I'm saying I'm saying that was not a typical, how do you say, interstate marriage.
No, mine was not political.
Not political?
No, not political at all.
Not at all?
No, not an arranged.
You know that I used to watch you a lot and your husband during Wimbledon, and you were stunning, really. You were a very, very beautiful princess.
You mean, what do you mean by were? What's this were?
You are. No, I mean, you
Very
are.
careful.
Of course you are. You know, if
Be
I
very
had...
careful with you.
If I had to cast someone in a movie to play the role of a princess, you would be my first choice, always.
Sweet.
Really?
Isn't he wonderful?
No, I know. You are. You are. It's not your first time in Brazil, ma'am.
No. I love your country. I've been coming here very often. Since 1981, when I came to research the life of Leopoldina, coming from Austria here, to marry the young prince, in 1808,
Pedro,
you remember?
Yes, sure.
The Portuguese royal family left Portugal and came to Brazil.
Right.
And to their great pleasure, they found a wonderful, exciting country. And then the king, Don João, decided that his son, Don Pedro, had to marry, and he chose an Austrian archduchess, an Austrian princess called Leopoldina. But the clever Portuguese had closed this wonderful country for 300 years. Nobody could come in.
That's right.
Except Portuguese and Chinese, and of course the labor force from Africa. And with this marriage, it opened up your country to the world.
You know everything about Brazil. That's amazing.
No, I don't know everything about Brazil, but I've been studying Brazil a long time.
Yeah,
I love this
country. And
you
love to say the word Leopoldina, right? You say it so...
No, I have to be very careful to say it the right way here than I do in Rio. I've learned this. Yes, because I say Leopoldina here.
And Leopoldina in Rio.
In Rio,
right?
Leopoldina. But what I did do is that I know that she came by ship and that she was overwhelmed when she saw the Sugarloaf Mountain. No? So I came by ship too, the first time, on a friend's boat, because I wanted to have the feeling that she had when she sailed into Rio. I ignored all the buildings, and I had this wonderful feeling at sunset of arriving in this country. Can you imagine what it must have been like after a long, long sea journey from Italy here? Very long.
You know that when I go to Angra, sometimes I do the same thing, to just look at the coast, and it's really, and I think the same thing. I mean, the emotion that the Portuguese had, or even Leopoldina or Leopoldina, which is much more sexy, had, and they saw that thing for the first time.
Incredible, incredible.
At the same time, I think she must have been very lonely, don't you think so?
Well, she was coming to marry a very handsome prince, and she was not, sadly.
No, she wasn't.
No, she
but
wasn't.
I think that she wasn't that bad. No, really, I've seen some photos.
She was very clever.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very clever. A little bit fat, you know?
Yeah, so what?
But she rode with her husband everywhere. They went riding all over to explore this beautiful countryside, and she loved it, and she was very helpful to him. She was very helpful, she was very intelligent, very clever. And she would send back to her father animals and flowers and plants, and he was very pleased because he had a little zoo. And you know, when she was a girl, can you imagine? Now, none of your worldly Brazilian audience can imagine this, I'm sure. But when she was one of many children, and her sister was married to Napoleon, if you remember, one of many children, all the boy children on this side, they had boy animals, and all the girl children had girl animals. And so, until the day she married, she didn't know what was going to happen. She'd only ever seen girl animals. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Must have been quite a shock.
Yeah,
no?
well.
Arriving in Brazil,
imagine.
and this beautiful young prince was a good shock, I think.
Yeah. Well, for her, yes,
For her,
sure.
yes. For him, maybe not. But
For him, not.
he had
not
compensation.
So much.
He had compensation.
No, of course. Oh, yes, he
yes,
had.
yes. Unfortunately,
He
had.
sure had. Yeah. But tell me something. There is I think there is an animal in Brazil that you like very much to say the word, and you call it.
The capivara.
Yeah,
I
capivara.
love capivara. I love it. Do you know, when I went to the Pantanal, please note how I say that, Pantanal.
Yeah.
Pantanal.
Perfect.
When I went with my husband to the Pantanal, we saw on our first day already 5 black jaguars. I think there are many people in Brazil who've never seen a jaguar or a toucan. Or a toucan flying.
I own one. A car, of course, but the animal.
Really extraordinary, extraordinary. And when we were there, I saw for the first time a capivara. This is a big fat guinea pig. I mean, what?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It's a big fat guinea pig, and
enormous.
I was told it's really a fish. I said, "Hello, wait a minute. Capivara is a fish?"
I don't think so.
Yes, a capivara is a fish, I was told. And I saw it go into the water and swim. I said, all right, it swims, but I can swim and I'm not a fish, you know. And it was explained to me that in the early days, when Catholics, and I'm a Catholic, like many people in your country, they had to eat fish on Friday. But there weren't any fish in the Pantanal to eat. But because the capivara swims, it was deemed to be a fish.
Considered a fish. Yeah. A large fish.
A large fish, hairy fish.
Yeah.
Hairy
beautiful.
fish.
It's beautiful.
I've never eaten it.
What about other animals? I think you're a horse lover too.
Oh, yes, I am. And you know that Leopoldina, I'm not allowed to say that. I was told I'm not allowed to say that.
Why not?
Here, because here they don't speak like the Karaokes. They speak,
No,
you know, Leopoldina.
I'm a karaoke for
So I can say Leopoldina to you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That she imported wonderful bloodstock from Europe to improve the quality of the horses here, which was very important because it's the only way of getting about. If there wasn't a river to navigate, and I've sailed up the Amazon. I mean, I've traveled a bit in your country, yes.
You know that there is a famous horse, English horse, that won many races, Saint-Léger, for instance, and he was baptized by the Portuguese ambassador. Huh? Do you know what the name of the horse was?
No.
Filho da puta. You know what it means?
I don't know exactly what it means.
It means son of a bitch. And I'll show you the photo because it was a very beautiful horse. Look at that. And the Portuguese ambassador, who was a very naughty person, and just for fun, when his friend, the owner of the horse, Sir William Maxwell, told him to baptize the horse, he said, oh, I have a beautiful name for him, Filho da Puta. But, as the story goes, this horse was a big winner, so there are many paintings of him, and always with the name, Filho da Puta. You can imagine the success it does in Brazil. Pode tirar o filho da puta, take it out. And in England, no one has the slightest idea of the meaning of the word.
Yes, I know. But my father had a farm in Mozambique, so I have a little knowledge of your language. Yes, yes. I have a little knowledge of your language.
So after you've been in Rio, and now you're in São Paulo, for how long? Look at it's beautiful. The German. Vitória Adelaide Maria Luísa, Princesa Real da Grã-Bretanha. Beautiful woman.
No, she wasn't.
No?
It's a beautiful picture.
You see how they
cheat.
They fooled us. Yes.
They cheat. Yes, they cheat.
You know that when the wife of São Pedro, of Dom Pedro II, came from the boat, he cried. He said, no, how am I going to manage that? But he did, he did. Okay. And you're going to travel through Brazil now with the book, showing the book, or you're just going back?
I'm going to Rio. I'm going to Rio for a few days, and then I'm going to very quietly see some friends. We'll have favorite islands and have favorite places to go.
All right.
Yes.
Fantastic.
He's very nosy, isn't he?
Yeah, I am.
Very nosy.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I beg your forgiveness, please. How are you related to Queen Elizabeth?
My husband is her first cousin. Their fathers were brothers. But Queen Elizabeth is the eldest of the eldest, and my husband is the youngest of the youngest. So there's a little bit of an age difference.
Yeah, well, I see, but I see by the photos what I said before, that he's a very handsome man.
Yes, very handsome.
So that's a marriage made in heaven, really. A beautiful woman and a beautiful man. Your sons must be...
My children are beautiful. Yeah. Do you have pictures to show of my children? No? No?
They have.
I have a son.
Okay, let's see the photo. Vamos ver as fotos.
That's my husband and me.
Look at that. Huh?
We were young then. We were young.
You're young now.
Yes, but now I have a 32-year-old son.
Okay. Vamos lá?
That's my daughter. Me with my daughter. She's not married. She's 30. Hello.
Vamos mais.
Oh, that's my handsome husband again.
Yeah, and really, you're very beautiful, really. It's
very good
you have
photographer.
Mirrors.
Listen, it's a very good photographer. Believe me, I destroy the bad ones.
Vamos em frente.
That's my son.
How old is he? The girls liked it.
Yeah, my son is 6'4", and he's in Los Angeles. He's a banker. And he has a beautiful wife. Sorry, girl.
She's married already. Vamos lá.
Now those are my real babies. You see
what
this?
What are you doing with that animal?
They're cheetahs. Gepard, I think you call them. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're the top of the endangered species list in Africa. and I'm involved with a breeding program. And when they are, I think he's trying to eat my arm actually.
Yeah,
But
see that.
when the mother dies, when she has too many babies, or sometimes they have tick fever, so they have no milk, then we have to bring them up by hand, you know, the little dropper. And so they're not exactly tame. They'd eat me if I didn't have food. I have food.
They are never tame, right?
No, they're not tame.
I mean,
no,
they
I
can
had
tame,
one.
but not domestic.
Well, yes, I had one that was domestic when I was a girl in Africa. Because my father was asked to shoot the mother because the mother was caught in a trap. And she'd taken 2 babies from the village because she couldn't run anymore.
Right.
You know, so she had to eat. And so he had to shoot her. And then we discovered she had a tiny baby. So they gave me the tiny baby. And so I spent a lot of time, you know, feeding, and I had nothing else to do on the farm in Africa. And she became very, very tame. She was called Tess, Vitesse, very fast. And when she was 2 years old, she ate one of my father's dogs. And he wasn't pleased, you know.
Well, the dog or your father?
No, neither. Yes. And but he did forgive her, and he forgave me. And 1 year later, she had a second dog, and that was the end. She had to go to a big game reserve, but she would come when I called. You know, when I went there, very near, called Gorongosa, beautiful game reserve in Mozambique. And I went and I call, and sometimes she comes, sometimes with babies. They're very easy to tame, cheetah. Cheetah, gepard, I don't know if you know much about them here, but until they're about 1.5 years, they have claws like a cat, so they can escape from trouble. They can climb a tree. But then their claws grow straight like a dog, so they can run very fast, you see? And then they can't climb anymore. So, and they kill by tripping. You know, the leopard jumps and holds. The lion jumps and holds and pulls down the animal. But the cheetah just trips up the animal and it falls, and then it chokes it. But then it's like this for breath itself, and then it has to eat very quickly because the birds of prey come and they tell the jaguar, not the jaguar, they tell the hyena that there's something being killed. They tell maybe the leopard, maybe the lion, something's dead. Go get it, you know? And they go. And so they have to eat very quickly because the cheetah is not as strong as a leopard, not as strong as a lion. They'll kill the cheetah.
Yeah, but she's faster.
But not when she's just been running. She's not fast for long, you see?
Oh, yeah.
Not fast for long.
Very
I don't know
fast,
about your car, but, you know.
Yeah, a very short distance.
Relatively short. And they sometimes have to try 3-4 times before they're successful, you know? And they have to sit there.
They're tired.
But they're so beautiful.
Well, thank you very much. Eu conversei aqui com a simpaticíssima Princesa Michael de Kent. I loved it too. Well, ma'am, Your Highness, thank you, very much.
Thank you.
E daqui a pouco a gente volta. Thank you.